Hey guys, welcome to Parenting Autism, episode 64.
Hello.
Hey, there's Sandy. I'm Chris Coulter, your host, and that is my wife, Sandy. Hey, people should check out our website at parentingautismshow.com. You know why?
I do know why. Because there are lots of good things on there. First of all, we have all of our podcast episodes.
Yep.
And we have a lot of tools and resources, including a new one I know we're going to talk about today, right?
Yeah, there's like lots of printable things that help people on their journey. And if they want to reach out to us directly, what's our email address?
Oh, you're trying to test my knowledge here.
Yes.
It is parentingautism@att.net.
Ding, 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 ding.
Thank you.
Good job. Hey, today we're going to be talking about some cool stuff, including the air show that we just went to.
Yeah, that's the cool stuff. And then on a little of that's the lighter side. And then I would say the heavier side of this conversation is going to be about listening to our gut instincts. And we've had that in a couple of occasions lately. And so we're going to talk about that. But let's start with the fun stuff.
Yeah, I have a new resource on our website. Let's talk about that.
Do it.
Okay. It's called the Feelings Thermometer. This is a great resource I came across. And basically what it is it's a thermometer. And as it goes up, the feelings get more intense. So like it starts out at the bottom on the cold setting is happy, and it tells you, how you feel when you're happy and what to do to keep feeling happy. And then next level up is like a little worried.
Yeah.
Right?
I honestly don't remember the sequence.
I don't have it in front of me.
But what you're saying is right. And I didn't even realize you had this resource, but you printed it out in our schoolroom, we'll call it. You have a huge magnetic chalkboard out there now. And I saw that you put that on there, and it came really handy for me the other day when Bryce was having a tantrum and he was really upset. And so I took him over to the thermometer and I asked him to tell me how he was feeling.
Yeah.
And so he took his time and he was reading all of them. I mean, we're in a place now where Bryce can read, which is helpful. I know everybody isn't there yet, but Bryce could read it, and he was reading what each of the feelings were, and it does give like 3 other words or definitions to describe that feeling, and then it says what you can do to make you feel better. So after he read them all, he ended up saying that he was sad, and he didn't choose frustrated, he didn't choose angry, he just was sad. And so it said on there, like one of the things it said on there is you could call someone or you could do something that would make you happy, or you could call a friend or family member. So I said, well, do you want to call Mama? Would that, make you happy again? And we ended up not calling anybody, but what I found was taking him over to that got his mind thinking on a different track, and just changing up his brain waves took him out of that funk and out of that tantrum. So
okay. Good, to where you can talk about it.
Yeah.
Good. So, yeah, that's a new resource on our website. Just go to our website and click on resources, and you'll find it there.
Yeah.
You can download it, print it, and I laminate it. If you have a laminator, I'd laminate it.
Well, I thank you for that because, I don't take the time to do the research like you do. And so it's great that you've come up with these tools to help, because it really was helpful. I mean, I'm a testimonial.
Yeah.
And I live here in the house where you provided it.
All right.
But let's go to the fun of the air show. And I think when we're done here, we do have Bryce in the house today. We'll bring him in here and maybe ask him,
something about the air show.
Something about the air show. But it was a really wonderful experience, a fun family experience, and
yes,
it exceeded my expectations.
It exceeded everybody's expectations, including the friends that were with us.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what to expect because we'd never been to an air show with Bryce before, and we didn't know how he would handle the planes flying because they are loud. So
Right. So we knew to take his headphones, and you'd already asked him if he would like earplugs or the headphones, and he wanted the headphones because they cover his ears. So we were geared for all of that, and really he only wore them toward the very end when the Blue Angels came and some of the louder planes that were flying lower. But other than that, he handled it all so well, but he was just so engaged with, they had a lot of pilots there in uniform. And they had Naval and Air Force represented, and Army, actually.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of Army and Air Force, and then some of the Naval as well. So it was really cool.
Yeah, so what I did before we went, here he comes.
Here comes Bryce.
It could be a flyby. No pun intended.
Yes, there was a pun intended.
So we did some prep. I went to the air show website to find out what aircraft would be on the ground there. So they gave me a list of what to expect. And of course, with an air show, everything's iffy. You know, you don't know exactly what's going to be there. But
I know that was my only concern, because with Bryce, once you commit,
right,
he's expecting it.
So I found pictures of all the planes that they said that would be on the ground, and then I put the name with the plane picture, and I did a little book for him. You know,
it was great.
With those what do you call those?
It was a binder, and it was like page protectors.
Page protectors. You slide the paper down into it.
Yep.
So there was planes and helicopters, and so he got to look at that, and he was very excited. He's like, print more, print more. I'm like, well, I don't know how many more are going to be at the air show, but he really was glad to have that, and he liked having the names of each plane.
Well, he did, and it was super sweet, because then we went over, it was a couple of hours from where we live, so we stayed in a hotel, and the night before, after we got there, in the hotel, he was reading it out loud to me and telling me what the names of all of them were. I mean, he was just so excited. And then when he got there, he recognized him, and I say, "What's that?" And he's calling out the name. Like, I didn't know what a C-17 or a, I don't know. He knew the Black Hawk. He knew all these different ones, you know, but it was really, really kudos to you. Really great. Kudos to you for doing all that prep work, because the more preparation we can do for Bryce, the better he does in situations. And I think that really helped tremendously.
Yeah, I remember when we got there, he's like, we parked in the parking lot. He's like, how far away is it? I said, it's just over there. Well, how long do we have to walk? You know, and I said, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. But the aircraft on the airfield outweighed any walking for him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
as soon as he saw the first plane, it was all systems go and no looking back. And we were there for 7 hours.
Were we?
Yes. So it was a long, full day. In fact, because we had the Florida resident ticket, we also had free admission to go back the next day.
Yeah.
And so we had made that plan just in case. Honestly, we thought we were going to be there a couple hours.
That's what
go
the
back,
plan
take
was.
a break, maybe go back at night.
That's
But it was a full day, and thankfully we had cloud coverage in the morning, but we had sun in the afternoon, so we got a little fried, and then we went back to the hotel and got to relax, and then we went back Sunday morning, and there were a lot of the planes that were gone, and of course the crowd was much lighter, but Bryce got to go back, and there was just a couple more things that he wanted to do and a couple more questions he wanted to ask, and then he was content.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yep, he went back to the C-17 pilot, and he's like, hey, buddy, you're back.
Yeah, and they gave him a patch, you know, as a special keepsake. It was really, really an awesome experience.
It really was.
Yeah,
it really was.
I saw that you were putting on our calendar all these air shows that are now coming out, but I'm just. But I said I understood it was such a great experience. Of course, it's going to be hot in the summer, but I think if we did that one once a year and put that on the calendar, I am 100% hip, and we should book our hotel now. I know I keep saying it. Honestly, we need to do that because the hotels are all booked up, but
it was cool.
It was a really great experience, and you know, I recommend it.
Yeah.
But I do recommend obviously preparing, knowing your child, and helping
each child is different.
Every child is different. But for us, it was really an awesome experience.
We find that a lot of times that whatever the event is overrides whatever sensory problem he has, like the monster trucks or whatever. He'll get past some of those.
Tolerate more.
That's it. He will tolerate more if it's worth it for him. So, but like I was saying, every child is different, and toward the end of day one, we came across that poor little boy who must have been around 10 years old, and he was crying. They were doing it. I think it was the Blue Angels were flying, and the noise was just so overwhelming for him, and he didn't have any hearing protection. And I had an extra pack of earplugs in my backpack. And I just handed him to Dad, because the child,
we could see he was traumatized. Yeah. And he was saying, he was sobbing, and he was saying, please, let me go. This is hurting me so bad. It's hurting me. It was really sad. So and good for you for spotting that, because honestly, when you said, I need to go give these earplugs to him, I didn't see the little boy. So I thought you meant Bryce, which didn't make sense to me. I'm looking at Bryce, and he's got his headphones. I'm like, why does he need earplugs? And then I saw you walk over, and my heart instantly broke.
Oh, mine too.
And then as we were on our way to our truck, because I thought, well, let's beat the crowd, and you can still see the angels, and we had taken our pictures. And then I did see that little boy and his dad leaving with a golf cart escort that they were taking
as we were walking
away.
Out the gate.
I did feel really, really bad about that. But on a happier note, Bryce took his camera that he got for Christmas, and he was working
so
like a boss,
excited.
man.
Yes.
He really understands the settings so much more just from the one lesson we gave him at the last animal zoo thing we did. So it made for a lot of fun, and he was so cute because, he was taking pictures of planes as they were taking off, and then he'd wait, and he'd snap, and he'd be like, I got it, and then we got home, and we got to see this stuff on the computer, and he nailed some good pictures.
He did a really great job. And he was so excited to be taking pictures.
Oh,
It was a win-win-win.
Yeah, so we were proud of our little protege photographer.
Yeah, so... we've had some people reach out since our last episode.
We have. I know that we had, it was Tamika that has sent us some, actually, I think we got that yesterday, which was nice. And then we've had some other people that have continued to reach out to us about different things and giving us updates. And, I love that. I love that it's a continuous conversation.
Yeah.
And, they come back giving me, I had one mama come back, and her son started school, in school. And this was the first time, and he has to ride a bus, but he had a good first day overall, and I was so glad she reached out and let me know, because, she had reached out before, wanted to know if we had any tips. So I love it when people reach out and let us know. And I've had really positive feedback on the fruits of the Spirit that I've mentioned the last few episodes, and been able to share some tools. And I am going to put some on the website so that people can start printing that out. But that's going really well with the puppets. And I just love that I'm not the only parent out there that's been wondering how they can teach their child about God and about Jesus. And
so shout out to Tamika. Her family lives in Mississippi. And so shout out to all the people in Mississippi that listen to us. And she was saying how our podcast has helped her in her journey, and she's on episode 9, I think. So not sure when she'll get to this episode, but But you got to start at the beginning, and we're glad it's helping her and others too.
I have found that several of the listeners who have reached out have started at the beginning and kind of following our journey in sequence, which is cool.
Yeah.
So, and when we were talking about the Bible, I just was going to share this. So we were over at my parents' on Sunday, and my dad said that he had heard a statistic that Billy Graham had shared that most children, or most people, I should say. Oh, here comes Bryce. So hold on.
Excuse me, Daddy. I won the game.
You won the game. Great job with that.
So sweet.
And there he goes.
So Billy Graham was saying that most people who come to know the Lord as their Savior, it's between ages 7 or 8 and 9, I think he said. So, Bryce is 7.5, and we've had this discussion. Like, I don't even know how much Bryce understands yet, but we're trying to find ways to teach him. But my dad, it's the preacher in him. He's an ordained minister. And so he said, Bryce, come here. I want you to read some stuff for me. So he had all these Bible verses, and it was kind of like the plan of salvation verses. And it's King James Version. And for those who aren't familiar with that, it's a lot of big words that Bryce has never heard in his life, like verily and these and thous and things like that. So Bryce is stumbling through it. And I have to say, I was recording this because to me, it's a special keepsake of a moment with Bryce and his papa. And he had his attention for about 10 minutes.
He did
and
good.
He read through a lot of the verses with him. And then when he got all done, and Dad even said, so what are you saved from? And Bryce says, something. We're like, okay. So Dad goes, keep reading. So they keep going through, and then they get done, and Bryce is getting squirmy now. And so I said, do you have any questions for Papa? And he paused, and he says, so the C-17, and he goes off about the whole air show thing, and my dad just threw his hands up, and we all just started laughing. And he's like, well, we just have to keep planting the seeds. And I'm like, that's it, Dad.
Yeah.
We just plant them, and we water them.
It goes in.
And, we just do what we can do.
It's
so anyway, so for all of you Christian parents out there who, have those same concerns and struggles that I have, I know you can appreciate that story. And and then Bryce starts rolling on the floor, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. He's gone. Yeah. But it was really good, and I was really pleased that he stayed engaged as long as he did.
Yeah.
Another little funny thing before I go into the serious topic. The other day...
We have to end on a funny note.
Well, we're going to bring Bryce in.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, so it'll be a light note with him.
Okay.
But anyway, so you had come in from working outside in the yard, and your shoes were really dirty. And I had just cleaned the floor, like with the mop.
Of course.
And so you said, Mommy's going to kill me. and Bryce looked up, and he paused, and he said, it's not nice to kill. And then you had to explain, Mommy's not going to really kill me.
Right.
She's just going to be upset, But anyway,
why is Mommy going to kill you?
Yeah. Then the questions started coming. It's not nice.
Whoopsie.
No, she's not going to really kill me. So anyway, It was just funny. I jotted that down because that's our household, and that's what happens around here. But going to the topic of listening to your instincts, I've had a couple of situations lately, and one we're still processing through. But the first one that I really want to talk about is that we had to make a change recently with the therapy. And it's cute because after we made the change, Bryce said he changed users. So, but in all seriousness, it was a difficult decision to make. And I just want to explain how we work in these situations and with Bryce, because I know it can be hard as a parent that we send our children to therapies and we are trusting the therapists that are assigned to work with our children. But I also believe sometimes change is good. And then I also think it's great that Bryce gets a variety of teachers and therapists.
Hi, Bryce.
With different styles of teaching.
It shows a slingshot. It's a wooden slingshot right now.
Oh,
okay. Thank you. For everyone there, that's a wooden slingshot right now. So
this was his speech therapist.
It was one of his speech therapists, and something happened about 4 months ago in December. And I honestly don't know what the details were because I pick him up more often now, but do you know what happened in December?
All I remember was that particular day, Bryce was overstimulated going into therapy, and he had his OT therapist first that day, which she said that, did she say he was off, or did he?
I honestly don't
can't remember
remember
what she said. I think she did say that he was off, and then he had his speech therapist, and he really does not like writing, and he had a complete meltdown when she wanted him to write. And we don't know exactly what happened, but that particular day stuck in his head. And usually when that happens, it's something that Bryce is pressured into doing that he is really adverse to, that he vocalizes or does something to protest, and he is kind of pushed through to do it anyway. And that's our prior experiences is like that, and it really affects him long term. And
he doesn't forget. And so ever since that one day 4 months ago or whatever, he has just said, I don't want to go. I don't want to write. I don't want to. And you don't want to have a kiddo that doesn't, I don't want to say enjoy therapy, but you don't want to have one that doesn't want to go, you know. And this just kept going on and on. We tried different things. We brought in his ABA tech to observe one day, and everything went relatively smoothly. The speech therapist said, well, he's a boy, he doesn't like writing. He's just trying to get out of it. So we tried several workarounds with incentives and things like that, and it just didn't seem like we were making any headway with it. Okay, so I think where it came up on my radar was because I was beginning to hear him say at nighttime, I don't want to go to therapy. I'm going to run away.
Right.
I mean, you know, he clearly didn't want to go.
And let me just really quick. And we tried, you know, writing on the whiteboard.
You tried different utensils as well, right?
Instead of pencils, because the pencil is the trigger, right? Yeah. And we tried everything, seriously.
Yeah, and you gave some feedback and said, you know, he doesn't really like writing for daddy's school either, but I will take turns, or I will write out the sentence and then he can follow and write the sentence after me. I mean, you've managed to find ways that he will write for you, and he's fully capable of writing.
Yes.
And his writing is decent.
Right.
So he's come a long way on that. So it's not like we're even trying to correct his writing or to improve upon it as much. I think the goal of the writing in this case with the therapy was to help him improve his communications with sentences and language.
Sentence structure.
So I get that. And sentence
punctuation.
Structure. So, I mean, because he can get other stuff from you at school, like punctuation. But when he goes to therapy, I don't want him to feel like that's something that he dreads. So when I'm hearing him repeatedly say there's a problem, then I'm like, what's going on? You know, because normally you were getting the resistance, I should say, when it was time to take him. And I don't know that if it was all the time, but I knew you were trying different things.
It was a lot of the time.
And when I was picking him up, you know, she'd be like, he did okay. You know, we tried this, we tried that. I'm like, okay. And he never said anything. Like, it was not, he's not the type that will like get in the car and voice a complaint.
Right.
He doesn't. He just files it away. And then when it's time to go back, he puts in his heels and he doesn't want to go.
And we spoke to the other therapists, and they're like, well,
that's what
we really don't have a problem with him. He seems to do fine with us. You know, he doesn't write with a pencil with them, of course, all the time, but he does use the whiteboard.
Well, this is where I kind of stepped in, because when we were coming to the decision, it happened to be that the other language speech therapist came out, which is great because he has two there. And so I just said, how does Bryce do with you with writing? I mean, does he resist? And she goes, I don't make him write. So right then I'm like, well, and I said to her, wow, you're the good cop. Okay, so you don't make him write. No wonder he doesn't have an issue with you.
Yeah.
And I know that they do have him do some grip and some writing in OT, and he has not complained about that. So when the other therapist came out, it was great because I had them both together. So I was able to say, okay, I just talked to this one, and she said she doesn't make him write, but I know that you have him write, and he's not a fan of the writing. And then she's like, well, I told Mr. Coulter, don't let him get out of this. He's just trying, he's very smart, and he's just trying to manipulate and get out of it. I thought today we were going to have war again, but he actually did really well for me. Well, when I heard the word war, I thought no one should be thinking they're at war. Right. So that tells me this has gone way too far, and it's becoming difficult for her.
Yes.
She was dreading it. And she said every time you would text her something, it would be like, oh, what is it going to be now? And I get it. It was like getting frustrating for her. Bryce could probably feel the frustration. It wasn't going so well.
And unbeknownst to her, he did so well that day because he knew that we were going to make a change.
Well,
we had already told him.
I had told him, no, this is the first day that he did so well. It was on Monday. I told him he could have a car wash.
Oh, that's the Monday when you talked to him.
That's correct, because I needed to find out what was going on. So I said, if you do your writing and you do well with her today, we can go for a car wash. Because I was going back to our old bag of tricks with green choices and motivation when he would have struggles. And it worked like a charm, because she said, well, he did great today. And in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, I bet he did. Because I know where we're going after. But I didn't reveal that to her then. But I did tell her that Bryce didn't want to come to therapy. We had to work on getting him to go that day, and that he's got something that he's having a hard time moving past. And I said, and I don't know what happened. It may not even be personal. It's in his mind. And then I explained what happened in church, where something happened, and it took 1 year, an entire year, for us to get him back into the classroom where he originally was, that something happened that at that time he couldn't even tell us about.
Well, he
just holds that kind of stuff.
And so, the church thing, there was a substitute, and it was a man, and he didn't know Bryce's, whatever you want to call them, his sensory issues, and he just didn't know Bryce, so he just did the normal routine, and Bryce did not like or want to be in the loud environment that he took him to,
right?
And he kind of made him stay.
He made him sit. So, Bryce gave us 2 clues. It was squirts and squares, and so we figured out he made him sit on the square rug, and he most likely was squirting soap on his hand because he was obsessed with it at that time, and probably got told, stop washing your hands and go sit on the square.
Oh, okay.
That's what I really think happened. With my point being, to them, it took him a year to move past that, and we had to call it we couldn't even call it the same room. We had to call it the clubhouse instead of chapel.
Right.
He doesn't let things go, and so when I explained that, she's like, I don't know what happened. I said, I'm sure it's something that wasn't obvious. This is what Bryce does, but we've got to try to figure this out. So then I came home and I we had ABA the next day, our meeting with the BCBA. And so I talked to her about it, and I said, I don't know. I just think maybe we should probably make a change, or should I go observe? And then I thought, no, I don't want to go observe.
Well, you texted me and you said, I'm going to go observe on Wednesday.
I thought about it.
When you sent me that text, I'm like, no, my gut is telling me that we just need to make a change. And I texted you back. I said, you know what? I think we just need to text the owner
there
and tell her, what's going on, and that we've worked on it, that we'd like somebody else. So
I 100% agreed. I said, let's just do it. I said, I'll take the fall, because I was picking him up that day. So you already called and made the arrangements, but I was the one that got to deliver the news. But you know what? She handled it okay. And he did know that we were going to make a change that day, because you had told him, if you go today,
it'll be your last
day
with her.
And so when she came out, she was so happy, and she was like, he did amazing today. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's because we told him that we were going to make a change.
And she's a great person.
She is, and that's it. And she loves him, and he does love her.
She loves kids. It's just that one day was the hiccup.
He thinks she makes him work too hard. And whatever that is, it's his interpretation. But he loves her.
Right.
And I even say, I won't say her name on here. I'm like, is so-and-so, is she so nice? And he's like, yes. Yeah. And if he didn't think so, he would tell me, or he wouldn't answer. He really does love her, but she did something that he just doesn't want. But that could change in time, and it could go back. But we've made the change.
And we're a
last
couple
week.
of weeks into it now.
And he is thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
There's
he's
been
getting
no
a whole
mention.
new approach.
No
Oh, no.
mention of writing or not wanting to go at all.
And then when he saw her, he did say to her, he told her.
He did.
He said, I changed users.
He said, Miss
And she
So-and-so, I
laughed.
changed users. And she's like, you didn't tell him to say that? I'm like, no, he came up with that on his own. She was laughing.
I mean, it's a good, happy ending. And to me, it's all about how you handle it, and explaining it. But you can't ignore those things. And it wasn't Bryce just trying to get out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, when he said he didn't want to go there anymore at all, I knew there was something more serious because he loves going there. He's the mayor. He knows everybody. When his BCBA went, she said he took such pride in introducing her to everybody. He has friends there that he talks about that he wants to see every week.
Yeah.
So it was something really major that would make him not want to go there anymore.
Right. And so the takeaway from this is you have to pick up on the vibes.
Yes.
And if they're not verbal, there's behaviors. So fortunately, Bryce was verbalizing that he didn't want to go, and we couldn't exactly get out of him the reason why.
No.
But
it's more than just hard work.
We had enough of the details to put the puzzle together that we needed to make a change.
Yes, observing his behaviors, knowing that he wasn't trying to play us.
Yeah.
We sometimes might get played, but no, you just really know. And that's it. Just kind of, you have to be in tune. But again, the message, don't ignore your instincts.
Right.
Listen to your gut.
I go back to when he first left public school to do daddy's school.
Yeah.
We knew that the fire alarms were upsetting him and that we couldn't get a heads up on when they were going to occur. But we thought that he enjoyed going there.
Because he seemed to.
I mean,
he really did.
We
He was
took
like
him every
happy
morning,
to put on that.
dropped
He
him
never
off,
complained.
Never
ever.
complained. But the first day or two of daddy's school, he's like, school was dangerous.
Yeah,
he told me it
that
was
the
dangerous.
word.
I'm like, oh my goodness.
Hey, bud.
Someone's going. Watch.
Okay. What is that? Oh, a slingshot.
Hey, Bryce, we're going to come get you in a few minutes so you can talk on the podcast.
We're going to get you in a few minutes.
Okay. He's so cute. Oh, you should see Bryce now. He's lost that top front tooth,
Yeah,
and
the
he's
bottom
missing
and
a
the top.
bottom one
Yep.
too. So he's got
Yep.
like a couple big holes in his mouth.
That's
but
cute.
super cute.
Did we talk about the tooth coming out last time? I don't know.
We might talk about the bottom one because I think he pulled it by himself. But this one was during the air show. I mean, it was dangling again. It goes to a point of no return. I'm like, babe, look.
I gave him a financial incentive to get it out.
Yeah,
it was
we
just
take full
dangling.
credit. There is no tooth fairy here.
So he pulled it out. He was a good boy about
He
it.
did. He handled it.
Yeah.
He handled it really
He's like,
well.
there's a little blood. And we're like, that means it's coming out.
It's
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So that's good. And, the other thing I'm just kind of in prayer about and listening to my gut on is our decision with Cub Scouts and what we're going to do for next year. And I really want to do probably an entire podcast. It's kind of centered around our Cub Scout experience for the first year. I'm also working on a blog post that I'm going to be putting up on the website this week. That's, this is the month of April. So there's the Autism Awareness and Acceptance. And I put together a blog post talking about the Scout law, and it builds so much character, and I love that. But it also how it can help others understand autism, through those laws. And so I'm going to be posting that. I want to talk about it in more depth, and there may be other families that are considering, how can, is it a good idea? And again, every child's different. And on this podcast, we only speak to Bryce because that's what we know. We're not experts by any shakes. But I do know that our goal with him was, because we've talked about it, what was our goal for this was the social aspect, which I don't feel like we hit it out of the park in that department, but I do feel like there was a lot of positive things on that. So we'll be talking about that, but it kind of goes hand in hand with if you're, feeling something isn't right, just don't ignore it and talk it out. Talk it out with your spouse. Because I feel like a lot of that I kind of kept in because this was really extra important to you to do the Scouts. And I get that. And I want to be very supportive. But, I have my thoughts and opinions too. So it's important as husband and wife, because that's what this podcast is about. I see you nodding over there. But it is important that we both are able to communicate about these things and because we are going to have different sub-opinions. We're not always going to end up on the same side of the coin on every situation. So
I think we'll cover the Scouts maybe next episode.
I think that would be great.
Yeah. Good. So don't forget about the feelings thermometer on our website. It's a really handy tool, and you'll probably find some other nuggets on there too.
Yep.
Anything else?
It's really what I had down. I wanted to get on here tonight in the middle of the week, which we don't normally do, but we had been gone over the weekend, and I've had all this on my mind.
The only time we get to do a podcast is when we get a cancellation.
That's the truth, and that's because my Bible study got canceled because of COVID situation. So I'm like, hey, can we do it tonight? Yes.
Yeah. So
all right.
We're squeezing life in.
We are, but life is good.
Yep.
It is. In fact, I did take a couple of days off from work, and it didn't turn out the way that I thought it would yesterday, being my day off. It ended up doing a lot of errands, but I did take time to create a schedule, and it was good therapy for me. Like, I really wrote out, what do I do with my time? And it is, to me, that's an important tool. We follow the Dave Ramsey plan, and he says every dollar should be accounted for. Well, how valuable is our time? I think every minute should be accounted for in some way, shape, or form. Even if you have, this is my blanket of time that I can do something for me, but I do have so much going on, and if I don't carve it out, maybe that's a little bit of the OCD in me, but if I don't have a planner and know where I'm going to carve out time to be a wife, to be mom. I mean, I'm talking about quality time with Bryce.
Yeah.
Not just in passing and giving him a kiss, but when do I sit and say, hey, Bryce, do you want to play a board game with me? That's going to be at 8 o'clock at night. I need to have a time throughout the week. And if I miss a day, okay, but I don't really want to miss a day with him. Life is precious, and we have this boy, and God's given him to us, and he survived a stroke. He survived so much. There should not be one day that I ever take for granted that I am too busy to sit and engage. I mean, like, truly engage with him for at least 15, if not 30 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of engaging. All
right, I'll get off my soapbox. But that's important to me.
Today, he had his first real snow cone.
Oh, yeah.
He and I'm posting more on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. So if you guys are users of any of those things, you'll see more posts coming. But he got pink lemonade and I got cherry, and he says, I didn't even prompt him. I didn't even ask him if it was better than ice cream. He's like, this is better than ice cream. I'm like, wow. And then,
well, that's great because it's not dairy.
And then later he's like, next time I'm going to try a different flavor. Because they had all the flavors, and I read all the flavors to him. He's like, I said, what flavor are you going to try next time? He says, I'm going to try grape. I said, good for you. That's going to be a good one. I might have that one too.
I love it.
It was good.
What do you call it?
A snowball?
Yeah, and I call it a snow cone. So it must be like if you live in Indiana or Maryland.
Probably, yeah. So listen, if you haven't been to our YouTube channel to see that puppet video, it just does not get old. I mean, if you need a laugh, go check that puppet video out on Parenting Autism on YouTube. It's just hilarious.
It is a funny one.
If I ever get sad, I will watch that video.
We do enjoy our weekly puppets, and Bryce loves it. And even right now, we're working on Joy, and we taught the song "Joy, Joy, Joy" down in my heart.
Yeah.
Last night we were singing it in bed. It's like he's just really taking to all of that. So it's good stuff.
Let me go get him.
Alrighty.
Okay. Hi, Bryce.
This is Parenting Autism.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it is. Good job.
Very good.
So, Bryce, tell us about the air show.
I saw a C-17 cargo plane.
Wow. What did you like about that C-17 cargo?
I took a picture of it taking off.
You did. You got a great picture of it taking off. What do you like about that plane?
I got the Raptor plane too.
You did. You took a picture of the Raptor, the F-22 Raptor. So tell me about the C-17. Give me some details.
There's 4 jets
Mm-hmm. And what else?
in the main door,
Main door. Mm-hmm.
or cargo ramp, or flat.
It does have a cargo ramp, doesn't it?
What did they use the cargo ramp for? Do you remember what he told you? Why they do cargo drops?
Because when there's no place to land.
That's right. And who did you talk to?
The pilot.
That was so exciting. Do you remember what part of the plane we went up inside? Near the wheel? Do you remember that? We went up inside where the landing gear is, and you took a picture?
The boom room.
Yes.
Oh, that was a different plane, but yeah.
Because
Okay.
we couldn't go in the C-17.
Right, but we went up inside the landing gear place, and he took a picture up there.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
We did so many things, didn't we, Bryce? But we went in the boom room on the other plane. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did you like about the air show?
I saw a Black Hawk.
Oh,
Black Hawk helicopter. Mm-hmm. And you sat in the pilot seat, didn't you?
And the Chinook.
The Chinook. What's special about the Chinook helicopter?
There's 2 main rotors.
2 main rotors. That's right.
So smart.
Did you really like that air show?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was fun.
that sure was.
I took a picture of the blue propeller plane taking off.
Oh,
yeah, you did.
You took a lot of pictures. You're really good.
And you saw the Blue Angels, too.
Yeah.
Which plane do you want to fly when you're older? Do you know?
The F-22 Raptor.
Okay.
And why do you want to fly that one?
Because until I go upside down.
Oh, yeah. That looked like fun, didn't it?
Oh,
You can
yeah.
watch me go upside down.
I will.
Yeah,
I'll
you
watch
will.
you from the ground. I'll watch you go upside down. Is there anything else you want to tell everybody?
So we saw the Huey helicopter.
Yeah, Huey.
Huey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna knock this down.
No, you don't want to knock that down.
What's this?
Okay, let's stay focused.
All right.
Are we about
Anything
done?
else you want to say?
Yes.
What?
Okay.
So what we did at the air show, we took a picture of the white fighter jets.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We did do a lot at that air show.
We did.
We could do a whole other podcast
I know, with Bryce,
with
right?
Bryce. All right, buddy, let's wrap up. What do you want to tell him as we check out for tonight?
Bye, people.
And say, have a great week.
Have a great week.
All
Thanks for
right.
listening.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you later.
We'll see you later.
Oh, wait. Do you want to sing our Joy, Joy, Joy song?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do it.
We got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where?
Down in my
heart.
Where?
Down in my heart.
Got
The joy, 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 joy down in my
heart.
Where? Down in my heart.
to
Stay.
That's perfect. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon, and have a great week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye, people.